happy to roll?
We're live, yeah.
Dave, how are you? It's good to see you. Everything's good?
Yeah, you too, Mike. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, good man, Dave. You recently made a 200th appearance from Munster. If you're involved this weekend with Ireland, I think it's approaching 50 caps, 46, I think. I mean, when you started all that while ago, did you think that you'd still be? Did you think that you'd be where you are right now at the relatively young age of 33?
I suppose when you start out, you're not really thinking that far down the road of 200 caps and 45 with Ireland, but I've just been very lucky, over the years. I've been lucky through injury and to be part of a great team. So, I was delighted to make the 200 the weekend.
From an Ireland point of view, you have been involved since last July, injury and everything like that. Now, rugby players are very competitive people. What is it? A kind of test of your mindset when you're not involved in a match day 23? The fact you have to keep yourself sort of at peak level, both in mind and body, in terms of being called on if you're needed.
100%. It's all mindset, especially when you're not involved. I've loved looking on and seeing how the team has progressed. You look at even from the summer and through November, the progression I thought has been incredible, and then on to the Six Nations again. It's just going from strength to strength, so you're desperate to be part of it and add to it. That's the competitive nature in everyone. You want to play every week. Obviously you're disappointed when you're not involved, but I think the younger me would have been, you blame other things rather than looking at yourself, and I think now it's about just focusing on getting better every day. And when you do get your opportunity, you take it, and you contribute as best you can to the environment and push the lads as hard as they can and get them ready for the weekend. And ultimately, I think that's actually what Faz has created in here. It actually doesn't matter who's playing the weekend, and I know that sounds a bit flawed, but it's about having the 23 involved as best prepared as they can be to give a great Ireland performance.
Can you talk about Italy and even the Italian teams in the United Rugby Championship? I mean, a lot of people talk about Italy and the fact they haven't won a match in the Six Nations for a period of time, but ultimately they are one of the most dangerous teams. You've even seen that in terms of the way their teams have played in that United Rugby Championship as well. Yeah,
exactly. They start very well against teams. They put a lot of teams under pressure at the start. They've been unlucky with some results. So, we can only look at ourselves. I try not to look at other teams, but you look at yourself and trying to improve yourself and your team as best you can. Italy are on their own mission to try and get better, as are we. But yeah, they've look at someone like Monty Ione or Garbisi. They have these incredible players, and when it clicks for them, it really does. So you have to be really on point against them, and I think a good start against them is crucial.
Thanks, Dave. I hope you have a good week, man.
Thanks, Mike.
Hi, Dave. Aisling here from Off the Ball. How are you?
Aisling, very good. You?
Good, thank you. You just spoke about progression there of this Irish team. What are the certain areas that you think in recent time they've really improved on?
In all areas, being honest. That's the thing with Faz. We're trying to push our boundaries here and just get better in every area. There's no room for complacency in this environment, and that's the beauty about it. Everyone pushes themselves. You look at even breakdown. That the contribution Paulie has made since he's come in. Around our maul, Cy and D, Fogs at scrum, and Caddy in our attack. It's I think every area has progressed, but I think there's more scope for progression, which is the really exciting thing. You look at the quality players that are in the 23, and then you look at the quality players that aren't in the 23, that are pushing every week, and players who are unfortunate not to make camp. So I think Irish rugby is in a very healthy state, but it's up to the lads who get chosen the weekend to keep pushing the boundaries that the coaches are asking them to push and give a performance that everyone knows in here we're capable of giving.
And you just spoke about there wanting to make that starting team. but you also have to have the right mentality while you're maybe on the sideline or pushing to get on to keep positive and all of that. How does that come with time and experience, or how do you get that mentality? Because I'm sure there is maybe younger lads there that are upset they're not starting.
Yeah, look, I think if you have that negative attitude and it's why me, you don't survive in this environment. You got to have. It's a very honest environment in here. Faz gives it to you straight. It's all you can ask for as a player, and then it's up to you. There's no room for hanging your head here and poor me. It's about making yourself better to make the team better. You got to be coming in here bouncing. This is a place where it's a high energy environment, high octane. Everyone bounces off each other, and if you have a negative mindset in here, you're not going to survive, and that's the way it should be. There's no room for people moping around. It's prepare whoever is involved for the weekend, and hopefully you doing your job at training that gets you involved.
Brilliant, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, how are things? It's Bernard here at Virgin Media. How are you?
Yeah, very good, Bernard. Yourself?
Dave, good. Dave, I suppose it's that unique week, isn't it, in the Six Nations, where people don't just expect Ireland to win this week, but they expect them to win well. Can you speak a little bit about, I suppose, the added pressure that brings, that it's not just a win you're looking for this week? People are talking about working on that points difference as well.
Look, we've mentioned every point is crucial, but we don't really look at results and scores. It's about performance and it's about process. It's about making sure our detail is right and that our energy levels are marred with that detail and that we give the best performance we can, and the score takes care of itself. You can't be looking at score. I think it has to be process driven, training based. How implementing what we're doing at training and seeing that coming into fruition on game day, that's where the real excitement is. Not really on scores. Hopefully we get a good score and we're on the right end of it, but it really is process driven and performance driven.
So you don't feel that extra pressure this week?
No. No more pressure than playing for Ireland any week. Any week you're playing for your country, it's about delivering as big a performance as you can. That brings its own pressure, and I think that's down to the player then, how well he handles pressure and how calm you can stay when there's pressure on, and staying calm and level-headed, and generally that leads to a good performance.
You mentioned there, Michael, the Italian performances, and I suppose where Italian rugby's at. I suppose the last game, 33-0 against England. Are they as bad as that scoreline suggests?
Me or Mike? Sorry.
Say again?
Oh, me. No, they're definitely not. Mike alluded to there. Their clubs have had some good performances. And they've had some good performances. I wouldn't just single out one game. As I said there, there's certain individuals on that team that are world class. Monty Ione is, as good a winger as round. You've Garbisi, you've a lot of world class players in there. So we won't be underestimating them. Again, we won't be looking at scores against England or things like that. We'll be looking at them as a real threat, and they're coming here to take a scalp, and we'll be as prepared as best we can.
That's a much better answer than Michael would have given me. Thanks, Elaine.
Cheers.
Hi Dave, how's it going? Dave, just in general terms, the guys who do the media on the Tuesday are in the mix for the match day squad. How do you feel you're placed? I mean, has Andy said something to you about what he'd like to see when you went back to Munster or even in training? How are you fixed, or how are you feeling yourself about a place at the weekend?
Well, that's funny, because Andrew Conway said to me the opposite. He said, no, he's been doing media before and he wasn't involved, so I won't be taking that for granted. Yeah, look, as I've said, Faz is very honest with the players, both as a collective and individually. I've had areas I need to work on, and I'm trying to do that as best I can every day at training. You come in here and you try and get better every day, and the coaches are very honest with you in areas you need to get better, and it's up to you then. It's not criticism, I would take that as a form of, they obviously think you're capable of getting better if they're giving you that feedback. So it's how you choose to look at it. So it's up to the player then to work on what they've given you. So yeah, I've had work-ons, as most players in here have had, and I'm trying to get them better every day at training, and the coaches examine training here to the ninth degree, like, so it's a great environment.
See, your first camp came back, it's 10 years ago. Can you just tell me what the biggest difference in camp is now under Andy Farrell as it was under Joe Smith? What's the one thing you could say stands out immediately as the biggest difference?
Well, my first one was under Declan Kidney. He was
For the majority of it
under Joe. Yeah, look, I've been asked questions like this before, and every coach has had different strengths and weaknesses. Even if you look at your Munster coaches, that I've had some incredible Munster coaches over the year. Dumper, Tony McGann, Rob Penny, Axel. Then you come in here, Declan Kidney, Joe. You can keep naming them, but I think it's taken the best pieces from all of them. These people don't get into those positions unless they're of a certain calibre of person. They have to have incredible traits. Faz has instilled an environment here, as I said, it's real positive, it's real honest with each other. It's about getting better every day, it's about helping your teammates, it's about helping the wider squad. It's not just the individual, it's making sure we're all pushing the boundaries together. So yeah, I think it's a bit unfair to compare one coach to another. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, but I'm loving the environment in here at the moment. I think it's a real positive place to play and to train.